Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KTN Life and Style. You are watching Man Talk, and I'm already seated with a gentleman that we are going to be discussing with today. But we're going to be talking about cultural diversity and the gender roles that we have. How have they changed from when we were children, the things that we saw, how we hear from our grandparents, how they were raised, and how we want to raise our children today. Gentlemen are going to be telling me what they think about it. What does it mean to be a father in a home in 2021 today? Very excited to get into this discussion. Before I do, we're shooting today at Jiweke Tavern, just off Gong Road, a wonderful restaurant where you can come and celebrate, whether it's a baby shower, or it's a chama meeting, or it's your birthday, or just simple lunch. They have a playground and a fine dining area and a sports bar for you as well. If you're into sports, it's a great place to link up with your friends and enjoy. Now, I like sharing a quote. This is a quote that is related to the conversation we are going to be having today. Culture, are you listening? Culture is the arts elevated to a set of beliefs. Sometimes our arts and the little things that we do and the little things we're going to do in our families and in our households are what over time create culture and will set how things will be. So no small little decision that you make is as little as you think it is. I'm seated with a gentleman. Let me introduce them and let's get this show on the road. Good evening and welcome to Man Talk once again. Now, I am joined by three dapper gentlemen who have all been on the show before, but today we're going to be discussing something very different. We are going to be looking at cultural diversity here in the 254, how it's affected us, what men's role is in that, and specifically gender roles. How do we understand gender roles from when we were raised to now in 2021 when we're all grown up? And do we see things changing? Do we see things being different? I'm going to be asking these gentlemen what they think in just a little while, but let me first start by introducing them. I'm going to kick it off with the gentleman seated right next to me, Reinhard Bonke, CEO of Light Web Organization and a man who wears many other hats. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Serious coach today. It's a bit cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
Hopefully our conversation will warm things up.
Yeah. Looking at these guys here.
It will be serious. They
Of
look
course.
ready. Next, we have Anthony Jenga, who is a counseling psychologist. And you also started Encouraged to Inspire. Yes.
Yeah, and it's doing good. We
So
thank God.
Yes,
So
I'm
far
so
we've
happy to
reached
hear.
to different schools, talking about different issues.
Yeah.
And most young people actually have really come to accept these issues. They exist.
Yes.
And it's a nice thing.
Thank you. Appreciate the work that you're doing with our schools. And then we have Pio, who is a pharmacologist, but you're also a youth leader. He's very passionate about leading the youth. And you need to check out his socials because you guys must be seeing some announcement soon somewhere. But I'm not going to announce it for him. He will tell you guys in his own time when he's ready. Now, today we're discussing cultural diversity and gender roles. Actually, we should just do a background on each one of us. Maybe where we were raised or where our parents come from. So I can start it off.
Yeah.
My mom comes from Kiambu County, a place called Kaburo, and my dad was raised in Murang'a County. So I am a Kikuyu, but from two different sides of the country. Reinhard, where are your parents from? Oh, and I was raised in Nairobi.
Oh, yeah. My daddy was a white settler worker employee. And yeah, my mom is from some part in Western.
Inapotea.
Yeah. Somewhere around Kakamega.
Ah, okay. Cool,
Yeah.
nice. And where was your dad working?
My
used
dad
to move?
Yeah, used to move around a lot, like sometimes in Mombasa, sometimes in Nairobi, but his main office was in Kisumu.
Cool,
Yeah.
nice. And you were raised in Kisumu, in Kakamega, or here
Kept
in Nairobi?
moving, sometimes in Githunguri, sometimes kept moving around.
Ah, cool. That's
Yeah,
cool. You've
didn't
grown
have
up in
a
different...
kind of a stable life.
It was like
Yeah.
up and down. Parents were trying to make it work.
Yeah, boy, you gotta move around.
Exactly. Anthony, where are your parents from? Where were you raised?
My mom is from Nyeri, in a village called Moishweri,
Ah, cool.
and my dad is from Nakuru, around Lanet area.
Nice.
But I was raised in Mombasa.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So you see the difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is very different. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. We have a
Yeah.
very diverse group here. I like it. Appeal, take it away.
Oh, fantastic. My mom hails from Alego in Seah County,
Ah, cool.
whereas my dad comes from Oyugis in Kasipul, Homa Bay County.
Nice.
But I was raised in Mombasa for the better part of my younger age.
Uh-huh.
Then the rest probably I spent in the village.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody came to Nairobi. Everybody came eventually. We all ended up
Visitors.
here.
Greener pastures.
Yes, greener pastures, trying to make it into the capital city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we say cultural diversity, Kenya is a very, very, very culturally diverse country. We have so many languages even that are spoken here. All of us here are from completely different areas, and we ended up, you know, in the same place. But when you talk about gender roles, would you say that the role you saw men play was different from when you were growing up to like now? If you were to compare your dad or your grandfather, his role and your role now, would you say it's changed and it's completely different? Okay, we can start off with you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I would say there is no much change, yeah, except for just the modernization of factors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the role of man has always remained the same: protector, provider.
Right.
There is nothing more than that.
Yeah.
And the role for the women was kind of described extremely
Yeah.
by especially how they dress, your spoken word, yeah, your day-to-day organization of staff and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I won't say that things have changed.
Okay.
What I saw my daddy do when I was a young boy,
Yeah.
same thing I'm doing when I am.
Right.
So he was a provider, I do provide. He was a protector, I do protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we just have maybe diversities because of our educational powers
Yeah.
and economic standards and everything.
Yeah, and technology, like
And
you said,
technology.
yeah.
Yeah, and our co-science and that.
Yeah, true,
But
true.
stuff remains the same.
It's more or less the same.
Yeah, role hasn't changed.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in depth.
Yeah.
Anthony, you were saying earlier before we even started the show that you're young on the panel again. But as the youth then, would you say you'd feel like your role is different from what you saw your dad's doing or your uncle's doing to how you're living your life now?
I'd say it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Sana, let's say to my uncles. You know, before then, culture for Kikuyu men, you weren't supposed to sleep in the house where your mom and dad is.
Yes, that's
But
true.
you know, as I grew up, I found it's okay
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, yeah.
And also, my uncles, the aspect of going to the kitchen,
Yes.
cooking,
Yes.
you see. But as I grew up, things changed because now I can cook.
Yeah.
I don't mind cooking for my person, my future wife,
Right.
probably, because
Yeah.
modernization, things, the technology, things are going on, improving, pole too. So I'd say, yeah, there's a big difference, but si sana vile.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you what you said about they always used to be the houses just outside
Yes.
when men became of age and you're kind of going through puberty.
Yes.
Probably 13, 14, 15
Yeah.
is when your parents would start telling you, enda
And
tengeneze kanyumba kako
Kanyumba
hapo
kako hapo
nje.
nje.
Exactly. Apio, how would you say it is for you if you were to compare to your
For
dad?
me, I
when-
think probably I'm extreme. I think things have changed
Yeah.
dramatically.
Uh-huh.
Things have really changed,
Yeah.
even from our customs.
Yes.
Because, for example, from my background, laws used to even remove 6 lower teeth in the process of rite of passage. The process of rite of passage. We no longer do that.
Yeah.
To me, even the value, the core value of a man or how a man was being defined has changed nowadays. We no longer actually remove the 6 lower teeth. So for me, I think things have changed because originally, the mother of your children
Yes.
was supposed to be somebody seated at home
Yeah.
looking after kids
Yeah. Yeah.
and ensuring that they sleep well,
Yeah.
they wake up well,
Yeah.
and they eat.
Yeah.
The man was supposed to go outside there, go hunt, go fish, go look for whatever they're actually eating. So that by the end of the day, you come back home in the evening and tell your wife, this is food, now eat. Nowadays it has changed.
Yeah.
Because nowadays we are seeing co-parenting in every aspect, be it financial, be it emotional, be it psychological, everything is you co-do. It's like coexistent nowadays. Because I even see even the bills that people pay nowadays, People sit down, father, mother, they sit down and say, oh, you'll pay these bills, me, I'll pay this one. So me, I think things probably have changed. By far, things have changed. And the modern diversity that we're talking about is not the original world that our parents, our grandparents used to live in. Things have changed dramatically, and that is something actually that we have to adapt to.
But before we go on, when you talk about doing away the lower teeth, something like that, that is not a role. That's a cultural diversity. That's not a role. When you talk about your uncle, I don't know, sleeping where and waking up where in the morning, that is not a role. Those are cultural
I didn't say it's a role. I didn't say it's a role.
You
I was just trying to say
example.
that the value of a man, the masculinity, what would make you a man first, before even taking your responsibility, has changed by far. And because removal of the 6 lower teeth was actually an emblem that you are now a man who is ready to take responsibilities.
It was an identifying marker, and it was something you went through.
I'm not saying it is a role. I'm
Yeah.
saying it is like it was like a visage that, oh, this man is now in a position to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things. So I didn't say it is a role.
So
okay,
you say
we
it's
have
a
to be clear.
qualification.
Sorry?
It used to be.
Qualification.
It used to be.
It is not a qualification. That, I think that is overstatement.
So
It was
what
not a
is it?
qualification.
It was
I
just
wanna
a
get this.
rite
I
of
just wanna get
passage.
this. Oh,
It was a rite of passage and
Yeah.
a sign you're in a position to take responsibility.
I hear you. So we've actually talked we've talked about ourselves and how we've seen how things are different. But let's describe these gender roles as we understand them today, actually, because you just brought up gender roles. So if you were to say the roles of a man in society today in Kenya, gender-wise, what would you say those roles are?
The role of a man today are just two, very simple: protect and provide.
Provide.
Every responsibility circumnavigates around these two.
Yeah.
For a woman, their gender role gives them maybe a higher power because they got a lot to do in their plates. Like a mother, she's supposed to be the decision maker in the family. I know he's gonna come after me because of what I just said. When
Why
I
do you
say
have to be
decision
friends?
maker, I mean mothers. The decisions they make today build the world.
Right. Yeah, because they're for the
You understand?
children. I
They
understand.
stand at a greater position to making a decision that tomorrow would guide the world to the right steps. That's a
okay.
role for
Okay.
a woman.
Okay.
It is the role for a woman to make sure that kids are brought up in the right way,
Yeah.
whether we argue against that or like it or not. Because the Bible says, I'm sorry for those who don't believe in the Bible, I'm not profiling anyone. A good son is the daddy's pride.
Yeah.
What about a foolish one? Mama's burden.
Yes.
Yeah?
Why is it that when children fail or excel, they have to be owned by one of the parents? You're not
It
a
is
child
not one of the
both.
parents, the mother.
Yeah, it's a mother's burden when you're failing.
Yeah.
But if you're succeeding, you're the father's
Actually, I'll
pride.
explain that biologically.
Oh.
Yeah, later. So, the female roles are actually described by their sexuality.
Okay.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. In the olden days, we provided, we
Okay.
protected.
Yeah.
And you'd expect every man in the morning to wake up early, go out there into the bushes, hunt,
Yeah.
come back home, pulling down a squirrel and
Yeah.
saying, hey, this is what I brought.
This is what we're
and they are
eating.
supposed to get back home to a woman who has provided food and bring it to the table.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, man, provide, protect. And trust me, when you talk about protect, it's not just protect like physically.
Yeah.
It embraces everything.
Yeah.
And then for a woman, now you have a burden. You need to educate. You are like the epicenter of the family.
Because
You
of
are
the
core,
children.
you are the mantle. You are the one who is the home builder.
Yeah.
That's your role.
Okay.
If this home doesn't work, it's upon you.
Okay.
Number 4 or 5, they are the marriage holders.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
If your marriage ain't working, whom do you blame?
The woman gets blamed.
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
I know it's gonna be a war here
Would you,
today.
would you, no, I understand what you're saying. are you describing that as a role that used to be like that and now it's different and the man has some responsibility in whether a marriage works or not? Or do you think that role has stayed the same and the responsibility of whether a marriage works or not is still with the woman?
No, the responsibility has changed because today we have competition against men and women. We
The
are
two
trying to
genders.
compete in these roles.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He said that today he can go home and find his uncle in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Remember one time in our talk I said
It never
that
used to
it
happen.
is the man's role to be there. The woman comes in as a helper. Yeah? So today finding an African man in the kitchen, even the kids would be like, hey, daddy, what's wrong with you? Why are you in the kitchen?
They
Your
wonder.
wife would ask you, excuse me,
What are you doing
what
here?
are you doing here? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those roles are changing depending on our taste, preferences,
Okay.
ecosystem, and everything around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony, would
Yeah.
you have anything else to add to how do you see the role of a man today and the role of a woman?
What I'd like to say, according to venye nimemsikia,
Yeah.
yes, at some point you're making sense, but don't you think much attention and much focus ama the roles zimekuwa sana kwa mwanaume that ladies are just there, like unapatia mwana unapatia you, like let's say for example we were having a talk on the let's say if you impregnate a lady, yeah?
Yes.
If a man impregnates a lady,
Yes.
so like the lady will be like, you know, you're the one who's supposed to be there, you know, you're the one supposed to provide. But at the end of the day, the man donated a sperm and the woman produced the ovum, right?
Yeah. It takes two to tango.
Yes.
No, boy. However much it takes two to tangle, that's according to you.
Yeah.
But again, look at this. It took you a lot of strength and power to convince this person to fall for you. True or false? It did, right? So when you are doing this, did you consider that there might be an outcome that you'd be ready to take responsibility for?
And did she consider there might be an outcome as well?
No, whether considering them or not, the fact remains that you lured them into doing this, and now the results are here.
But you didn't
Would
rape
you
them.
handle yourself? You cannot run away from your role.
Listen, you didn't rape them. They
didn't do what?
accepted. You didn't rape the lady.
So
And that
are
is
you
why it is
saying,
accepted. That's why it
Anthony,
even becomes
are
better.
you saying, let's just make this reality situation.
Yeah.
A lady is pregnant,
Yes.
and I'm assuming in this situation, the reason that there's confusion and conflict is she's not married to this man. They don't have an agreed, committed relationship between them.
Yes.
But they did the deed, and now she's expecting a baby.
Yes.
So what are the roles that you feel maybe the man takes on too much or the woman takes on too little? How do you feel those two people should go forward in that situation with their roles?
Number one, the first
good
place,
question.
mnafahamu understand, mnafahamu kae chini mjue,
Uh-huh.
you two,
Yes.
mkikuja pamoja, when you went to bed,
Yeah.
you were together, right?
Right.
So even though the lady gets pregnant, the lady should also chip in a way. Isikuwe like, I'm the one who's supposed to provide for everything.
Everything. Okay.
Because you're the one.
Yeah. No.
Wait,
No,
just a
hold on.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
I cannot keep quiet with
Reinhard,
this,
hold
yes.
on. No. Because we've let you finish. Like, I want to understand
God.
Anthony fully.
Yeah.
So you're saying chip in monetarily, for everything that's needed for the child. Once the
Yes.
child comes, the child will have to eat. The child
Exactly.
needs vaccination jabs. The child needs
yes,
clothes.
yes.
Now, there is the physical burden of bearing the child that the man doesn't usually endure, right?
yeah.
Some people have very smooth pregnancies. They work up until the last day.
Exactly.
Some women don't. Theirs is a bit more complicated. You can be put on bed rest. You can be. So there is work in carrying the child.
Yes.
Should that work also be counted as a role? Because you see, a woman who maybe is put on bed rest can't then provide. A woman then who has a very complicated pregnancy can't then provide.
Yeah.
Or even if you're able and you have a job and you're working, and so does the man, there are some things you experience in the night physically with doctor's visits that he doesn't have to experience. And some women's pregnancy issues and complaints is, I'm going for doctor's appointments, he's not there. Or I have pain at night and all of this, he's not there. I am going through emotional turmoil even preparing for this child, he's not there, or he's not in it with me. Yes, the man wants to contribute 50% monetary, but do you think physical labor of carrying this baby and giving birth to this baby is work that should be counted?
Yes, it should be counted, but don't leave the whole burden
Okay.
to the man.
Okay. Understandable. I get that.
But
I
again,
think that's
honestly,
fair.
honestly, do you know the shock that comes when a lady realizes that she's just gotten untimely pregnant? The shock. So honestly, you have to man up and be there for this person. Don't come around saying, you know, the role should be shared. Shared about what?
So you say the man
Excuse
should
me,
provide
so then should I chip
100%.
it?
No,
Yes,
it's not about
please.
providing 100%. It is about,
Yeah.
understand, this person's body has been shocked, number one. They are confused. They are like, oh God, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to
It
do?
changes
Do
your
I tell
life.
him? Would he agree? Most of us men today deny.
Yeah,
Be like,
that's
okay,
true.
I know I wasn't the only boyfriend, so tell him the reality. You
Yeah,
see? So
yeah.
their psychological capability at that
Aspects.
moment cannot handle. And number two, this person is carrying a foreigner in their body. A foreigner that came from you.
It
Yeah?
didn't come from me.
No, 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 no,
It
no,
was
no.
half-half.
It was half.
Yeah.
There's nothing like
from me,
half
Okay,
please.
half.
So spare me that.
Let's
You know, me,
talk about the gender roles.
Okay,
We
the
can start
roles.
off
Me-
with
me,
this.
I think probably about the gender roles. What I would want to say, number one, it should be clear from the word go that the father is the head of the house.
Yes.
Thank you.
That should not be compromised
Yes.
Okay.
under any standard.
Yes.
And number two, if a woman has to come in or a lady has to come in to chip in in the family roles and all sorts, let her actually stay in her lane. And her lane is so clear,
Okay.
so crystal clear.
Okay.
Please do your role. If it is kitchen affairs, do it. Advisory would only come as a last solution to actually consult you. That, oh, I need to consult you. I wanted to do this and this and this.
What do
Actually,
you think?
Majority of women embraces men who give directions. So the moment you reach a stage you're consulting a woman on issues, that itself has compromised your fatherhood in this case. So first, ensure that you be a man on yourself. Do things. If you have to consult with your friends.
Yeah.
And
Okay, it's a
when
bit.
you come into the house,
Yeah.
tell your wife, tell your lady that what I decided to do is this and this and this. Actually, don't even tell me about the outcome. Even if I have to do a project, I have to build probably, I have to develop a property in Syokimau. Me, I'll tell you when already I'm three-quarter.
Yeah.
I won't even consult you.
Right.
So, because me, I believe that the role of the father is to give direction, is to lead. Because
Okay.
the moment you want to do half in terms of consultation,
Yes.
believe me, women are ever having excuses for everything. You won't actually make steps.
Okay,
That is
so
my position.
I hear you. The man being the father, the head of the home, he's the head of the home, he's the leader of the family. He's the one who decides the direction in which the family will go.
Absolutely.
Right? Are we living here? This is how we spend. You know, this is what business we're going to do. This is what I think we should do for our kids. That makes sense to me. Then you said the woman's role is also very, very categorically clear within that setup. I want you to explain that a bit further. You mentioned the kitchen and everything. Just define for me, for you, for a woman, what are those roles, the way you've stated for the
Roles
man?
number one, from the side, the function or the role of the mother in a family setup is to ensure that number one, kitchen affairs are taken care of.
Okay.
That is one.
Yeah.
Number two, ensures that our kids are growing with the moral they deserve, ensure that they know God.
Yeah.
Because me, myself, I might be actually lost. I don't even go to church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ensure they are growing in perfect shape in terms of morals and they be God-fearing
Spirituality.
people.
Yeah.
Number three, as a mother, also ensure that this is a praying family. You get me?
Yeah.
And lastly, what I expect from probably the mother of my kids today is that you, as the mother, ensure that if there are guests in this house,
Yeah.
whether they're relatives or not, things to do with hospitality,
Yes.
how
yes.
they're going to be comfortable here,
Right.
how they live is up to you.
That's your responsibility
That's your
now as the
responsibility.
mother.
Yeah.
I hear
and
you.
maintain your work. If you're working, go to work,
Yeah.
but always be mindful that you have additional roles at home. That probably me, I don't have.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Okay, that is okay with you, but you know, again, we are raising women who are just like beasts of burdens. Their hearts are laden, heavy. Hey, if you're telling your son that Mama, stay in the kitchen, Papa, stay in the sitting room, you're raising a stereotype. Honestly, you're raising a stereotype. And this person will not be able to handle the future when it comes.
Right.
especially when it comes daring with challenges.
Yes.
Yeah, they have to be knowing that in as much as I'm the final decision maker,
There
you
is-
have a voice.
Yeah.
There is always inclusiveness.
Thank you, Reinhard, because you've hit the nail on the head on how we are going to come back. We're going to take a short break, just a tiny short break, so we can pay the bills, so Man Talk can keep coming back over and over again. But keep it here on KTN Home. We're going to be taking a tiny short break. When we come back, we're going to be kicking off with the girls that we're raising to be these women that we're talking about in the homes and the gender roles. So thank you for that, Mr. Bonke. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. You are watching Man Talk here on KTN Home. And today I am joined by Apio, Anthony Jenga, and Reinhard Bonke. We are discussing gender roles and cultural diversity. Now, just before the break, we were talking about gender roles, and now I want us to discuss how we were raised from a boy child to be the leader in a home, or from a girl child to being the helper, the mother, the nurturer of a home, and whether we think that's different. Just before we took the break, Reinhard, you had started touching on you feel that the women we have raised, if you want them to take on these gender roles in the home, they are taking on a lot of burdens. Found that very interesting. There is recent conversations that have come up about invisible tasks that people do in the home and whether they should be compensated in whatever way somebody feels. Invisible tasks, let me use the example of a man first. Going outside to feed the dogs. It's not something anyone will ever ask you to do or anything. You're the only one who will do it. Those dogs will starve if you don't do it. And it's something that you'll do every day or every other day in the week, and nobody will ever acknowledge it. Or locking the door, or being the one who goes to collect the children. Whatever the role is. For women, similar. Invisible roles, like you said, hosting guests. You're the one who's supposed to make sure guests are comfortable in the home. So all the things that you do to make sure guests are okay, it's not a task anyone will ever thank you for. And you'll do it for years and years and years and years and years. You'll never be compensated in whatever manner. However, these are things that help run a home, run a household, and run a family. And men have invisible tasks that they do, and so do women. What I want to ask you guys is, the way we're raising girls today and the way we're raising boys today, will that boy get into a home and fully be able to provide and protect? Does he need any other extra support? Or the way we're raising them today, we're giving them all the tools that they need to be able to fulfill that role? Do you think it's easy for a boy who's raised in modern world today to be that father figure and that leader in the home? Ama, you think there's some things that are lacking?
Raising a boy, yeah? Tukianzia, when a boy is young, akiwa mdogo, unajua their families, as a psychologist, kuna issues tunatackle. Unapata mzazi anakuja anakuambia aje, mtoto wangu, mzazi the mother, mtoto wangu nikiwa hapo kwa dressing mirror, when I apply lipstick, nikitoka anataka apply the same lipstick. Now the mother hamuongeleshi, amwambie these things are feminine.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
So the boy, and that's why nowadays, I'm not trying to try kusema ni mbaya, but that's why nowadays we see a lot of people growing up and getting into the LGBTQ stuff. Because now the parents, mzazi akiwa na mtoto wake akiwa mdogo, hamwelezei this is how a man should behave or be.
Right.
This is how a lady should be.
Right.
You understand? So let's say for example tuchukue example ya kwenda jikoni. Mimi nilifunzwa kupika, I think when I was 13 years.
Okay.
Nikiwa mdogo sana. And there are some men right now hawajui kupika.
Yeah, you were never taught, you were never put in the situation to be shown.
So there are those men hajui kupika, lakini argue the fact that now sijui kupika, so si kazi yangu. I'm not supposed to be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But it's not about being in the kitchen. It's about now, let's say for example, before muoane ama before nyinyi wawili mkuja pamoja, you as a boy or a man, ulikuwa unashinda kwa nyumba ya mamako ndio upikiwe, ama at some point maybe ukiwa college, maybe ulikuwa unakaa kwenu, ama ulijitafutia nyumba. Na ukijitafutia nyumba ulikuwa unajipikia.
Yeah, because it's a skill for you to survive, for you to eat every day.
One thing mimi usema hivi, there is no hakuna ubaya na a man going to the kitchen and cook. Maybe there are people who will differ with that.
Yeah.
Maybe venye wamereiziwa, a man shouldn't go to the kitchen, afai kupigwa na moshi, mwanaume afai kwenda kufanya vitu zenye zinakaa feminine, you understand? Nikipata mtoto.
Yeah.
Ama wenye wanani watch, maybe you have a kid na unachezea between 20 to 25 and maybe uko na mtoto. We are the future parents.
Yeah.
Unajua? And things are changing, you understand? How you raise your kid, how you raise your boy will determine venye atakuwa uko.
Very true.
You understand?
I want to ask, Apio, those things like the rites of passage, yeah, and they're different in various communities. You used, maybe some people might think it's a bit more of an extreme example of the plucking of the lower teeth, but it was part of the rite of passage. In some cultures, it meant traveling for very, very far. Boys used to come of age, and there'd be a whole school of boys, and they'd be taken by the chief leaders. And as you go on your journey, if you're going to the mountain or you're going to the desert, whatever it is you're going within your culture, there were things you were being taught along the way. Do you think that because we're losing those customs, because it's being done less and less, those are the things that used to help us know how to lead a family? Do you think those rites of passage were a bit more important in men growing up and being able to handle family life later on?
Before, in each community or in each diversity, before every other person would undergo the rite of passage, there were things they used to teach. You were taken through something like a manual, something like an expectation, what you're expected to do. It was not just waking up in the morning and removing 6 lower teeth or circumcising you. You were to go to a class. You were to go sit with the elders. So there are things that were being taught there that would actually make you a proud and a strong father.
Yes.
You get me? But there is a say that goes like this, Susan, that I think it is a weird say that after 1994, God allowed everyone to exist on earth.
Right.
You get me? Before 1994, God used to create people. Then after 1994, everyone was allowed to exist on earth. Right. Why I'm saying this, the generational change that we've had after this period of time has brought a number of changes actually in our society, in our community. The boy that exists today, the millennials, people who are actually 20 years, 25 years, are not the same boys that used to grow in 70s, in 80s. Those are two different people. Because the boy of today is someone who grows knowing very well that, number one, it is the sole responsibility of his parents of his parents to ensure that he lives well, he has everything. Then he's not supposed to struggle, right? Back in the ages, a man at a certain point, or a boy at a certain age, knew very well that after 13 years, the things that I have to face, whether I'm in capacity or not, I have to face them. They were there. Nowadays, we have even 35-year-old man or 40-year-old man who sit pretty at their parents' house and still says that, oh no, life is good. My parents are here, my father is there. Life is just good like this. Something you would not see in traditional era or setup. You would not see something like that.
That's true.
So I think the generation change. And for your information, in this current situation, for you to raise up a boy or a girl to be that mother or father that the family or the society expect is not that easy. It's not that easy because there are peer influence. People want to live like they're living in Europe and they're living somewhere probably in Kericho. People want to stay as if they are living in Switzerland and they're living somewhere in Kiambu. So you get it. These are actually changes that have been brought by technology, by peer, by coping whatever is happening in other parts of the country, has actually eroded our customs, eroded our responsibilities, and that is why we are coming to situations whereby nowadays even you'll find probably a man or a boy who sits there, or somebody, a man who is in a position to marry, wants to marry for actually either convenience or a mother who puts him there like, oh, you're a baby, you're not supposed to do responsibility, your work is to dress well, go to town, you want a car, go to town. But at 5, you have to come back. You see, such cultures never used to exist. But because of actually how, and me, I blame this probably from the Western culture, and us getting assimilated by them. Because the issue of you bringing a father and a mother, now you reason, me, I want to actually discipline my boy because actually he did something wrong. The mother comes in, no, don't slap that boy, don't do this, don't do this. we end up having a compromised family. I can't do my role because
And you
I have
can't.
accepted my wife to actually trespass on my responsibility. That is why I'm saying a father must be responsible for everything here. I would only consult you as my wife
Yeah.
if it is necessary, deemed necessary.
So let me ask then, where is the space for mothers to then advise and play that role in a family with children? Apiu, I want to ask you, should it be that the woman and the man, the father and the wife and the husband, talk when they are just the two of them and agree, then maybe come and disseminate information back to the children and or rather lead the children the way they have agreed? Or is it a situation where, like you said, because the man makes decisions in the household, he decides how he wants things to be, comes and tells his wife, this is how I want things to be, and then they lead the home accordingly? Where is the space for the woman to contribute? Because something else is, if all four of us had girl child children, we would of course want them to be healthy, happy, eating, going to school, educated. You'd want her to go to university. So you're giving her all these skills. Clearly she has to use them at some point. It's not like you're giving her all these skills, then she gets married, then it's like, you know, keep everything that I've put in you as a parent. Yeah. So where is her space, Apio, for her to take all the skills you've given her as a father? Now when she gets married, where is she supposed to apply those?
In fact, she has got more space, more than even me, because 3/4 of things on how probably our kids are growing, she is in the vicinity. She's ever with kids.
So with the advisory, with asking for advice for your wife being something very difficult to do because the man is the leader and he's the one who makes decisions, how do you navigate?
I didn't say you are not supposed to consult your wife.
Okay.
You're changing your mind. That's great.
What I said.
Trying hard.
No, not
Okay.
really. What I said, that should be, central bank is the lender of last resort.
Right.
That should be the last resort that I have.
Uh-huh.
That now, oh Jesus Christ, no, I'm pushed to the wall. Baby, what do you think about this issue?
So it's a thing of, as a man, try and always tell yourself you can come up with solutions and you can find them. But
Absolutely.
if you can't,
If I can't, I'm
Then-
actually at the dead end.
or talk to
And
your wife.
actually, it's like I've even consulted my friends, people that I consider my friends, and solution is not coming.
Right.
Yeah, I'll actually gladly share that with my wife, of
Okay,
course. I'll share with her. But
Yeah.
even as we are raising kids,
Yes.
me, this is my mentality, Susan, whether it's going to actually cause commotions here.
No,
Me,
no,
this is
we're
my
here for
position.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It is better for children when they are growing to fear me more than to love me.
Aha. You're not the first person that I've heard say that.
Yeah,
Parents
I'm better
say,
with that man.
parents say when the child are older, maybe your kid is 15, 16, 17, or maybe they're even an adult, now we can be friends. But before that point,
Wacha wazoe na mamake.
No, but again, I want to ask
Wazoe na
you,
mamake huko.
Afia,
so you're seen as, I fear dad, I
lion.
respect
Hey,
him, and
The consequences of doing probably what mom told you to do.
now for dad, the consequence is 10 times worse.
The kid fears the consequence from the dad.
So that makes children more responsible. They'll
Absolutely,
be more. I hear what you're saying.
no,
that will
Susie,
And
can I
they-
ask?
and-
Can I
and-
ask? Like,
and
okay,
the children should
Apio.
actually see even that their mother
No.
has got some respect and fear for me.
No.
Right.
There is a
Should come
difference.
out
There is
clear.
a difference between respect and fear.
That is
Okay.
why I
Those
said
are two
both.
different things.
That's why I said
He
both.
said he
Let me
said
ask you a
both. He
question.
I
said
said
both.
both. I said
No,
both.
let me ask you a question. When you mean they should fear you, in what context?
They should fear me.
In what context?
The meaning of fear is
Because you
plain
cannot
and
just fear somebody for everything,
you just fear me
for no
everything.
reason, right? Like I meet you, I'm just afraid.
I give you an example of
Yeah,
fear.
yeah. How would they navigate?
Which
When actually
context?
they were probably in the sitting room watching TV,
Yes.
they saw my car coming.
Uh-huh.
They must feel guilty that there is something constructive they're supposed to be doing apart from watching this TV here.
Okay, now-
That's
No,
what I
guys,
want.
can I say something? Because
Make
what you're
yourself
talking about,
constructive.
I was raised.
Me,
I was
that is the
raised
kind of me dad me I
that
would
you would want to be.
now.
I was raised a little bit like that, or I had friends who had dads like that. But what happened later on was in high school, I think you start looking at your parents a little differently as you grow up. Because you start seeing more things. You know, when you're 15, if I'm with you, I won't notice the things a 5-year-old will notice. A 5-year-old is in their own world. But a 15-year-old will start asking you, oh, dad, what is it that you do? Before maybe when they're 10 or 9, atasemanga, dad anaendaga job. You know, they say that. Mama anaendaga job, dad anaendaga job. When they're 15, 16, they want to know, what do you do at job? You know, what's your boss's name? Where's the company? Nakuanga kwa barabara gani? Like they are more curious and more. So when I was growing up, for the parents that were a bit more distant, maybe because of the job that they did or because of how they wanted to be as parents, children started questioning and asking and wondering. So the parents realized, or rather they were forced to be more open. And so automatically when you start talking to your child and they start learning things about you, you become a bit more humanized in their eyes. You're not this big, scary figure.
But you know the advantage of that, Susan? The advantage of this? They are now starting to make their own decision when they are adults. They know the right and the wrong and the right. They know it right now. Rather than giving them that space to be comfortable and to do things that they can do when they're not aware.
Susan, let me ask Apio a question. You want your children to fear you, right?
Absolutely.
So let's say mtoto wako amefika age 19 na anataka kudate. Do you think that it will be so easy for him to approach you like?
Please do that, but
will be a
let me not
secret.
know.
It will be a secret.
do
Yeah,
that
he
at-
doesn't want
if
to
you
know.
Do that at
He
your own
doesn't
peril.
want to know.
Me, I don't want to know.
No, but you see again, that doesn't make you a father. It makes you a dictator.
No, you're not a dictator. You're not a
No,
dictator. You are
honestly,
just
you are.
putting. You are just
Look at
putting
this.
the house straight, so that by
Excuse
the
me.
time,
Excuse
if
me,
you are a
Apio.
lady, by the time you'll present to me a man, you know the kind of man probably. Hey, my dad. How can I even text such a person as a probably husband?
But
You
again-
know my
again, you see-
expectation
So
from the
I
word
have,
go.
hold on,
No,
hold
no,
on.
no,
There's
no.
something that is leveling all of us at the moment, which is technology, right? It's very easy for a 15-year-old to go type man talk, Katie and home, and they're going to watch this episode. So whether their father is present or not present, whether he's a dictator or he's always
Or
with
whatever,
them and he's
yeah.
their best friend, they'll now get exposed to technology and form their own opinions. They're seeing it in cartoons, they can access it on radio, they can access it on podcasts, everywhere. So technology is adding a whole other new concept when it comes to our culture and how you'd want your home to run. How should the modern day parent navigate it? Is it the question of blocking everything possible that you can block, and your kids will still access it because they'll access it at school, or they'll access it at the neighbor's house, or they'll access it? So would you have to adjust your parenting method due to technology because they have access to it anyway? So I'll give an example. If you're like Apio or you're like Reinhard, Apio can enter the house and be told, you know, Dad, you're a dictator. They've read it, they've understood what it means, they're going to tell you the definition, and you're just suddenly like, I've had a long day at work, why am I entering the house? And this is what I'm being told. And this is your child, it's their opinion of you, and they've now decided to share it with you. It can be the opposite. You enter the house, and the child says, Dad, you are softy, you know, like you're just so, it works either way. How are you supposed to navigate your decision of how you parent your children as a father and all the technology and all the things they have access to?
I would say, first of all, in our decisions of today, they carry the consequential forces of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. If today I cannot want my daughter to grow in between the brothers, knowing that for her, the boys know that for this girl, she has to be in the kitchen, she has to do this. No. They should grow up knowing that we are being the generation of tomorrow, and what we do today impacts tomorrow.
Right.
So if I do things right today, I don't want my kids to fear me. I want them to be able to be compatible with me. They can share life with me, even at their deepest moments.
They
Even when
come
they
with
feel
their
like this, I
problems,
cannot
yeah.
share with nobody. They should be able to approach and say, Daddy, how do I go about this?
Yeah.
Why? Because if we raise kids according to what he says, that is opinion. And that's him. That's why we are raising dictators in the world. Remember, everything we do today, it's about the future.
Yes.
These kids tomorrow, he will be a president, a governor, women rep, youth leader. We are raising them to be very, very, very arrogant people in the future. Like, if he is a president, whatever he says, if he says, go out in the streets and shoot, no
He
questions.
expects everyone to
You see?
do it.
At least
may
we
I
should
answer your
have an
question?
environment, just a
Yes,
minute.
Apio.
We should have an environment in which let unconditional love and humanity, you see, that humanity in you should come out.
That should be the primary source of
yeah, yeah,
parenting
it's
when
supposed
you're
to be-
interacting with your children.
Yeah, it's our benchmark.
Because we're running out of time up here. What do you think about
Well, I think
technology and
whatever I
raising
was telling
children?
you, character development is a progressive process. It is something that goes in steps, right? In as much as me, I prefer that kind of leadership in a family,
Yeah.
whereby the father is the headquarter of everything. In terms of character development, because with the technology, true, you cannot probably tell a kid that I saw you doing this in the phone, because they get to understand very new things every day.
Quickly, yeah.
Me, what I would suggest, probably how I would run my family, is that I would love a setup where probably my kids are very close to their mother, right? And two, the two things that are common here, in fact, there are three. How the mother actually impact morals on them, discipline, and charge. Vitu ngapi?
Hizo tatu.
If this can be done progressively for close to 17 years, 18 years, from 0 year to 18 years, I'm telling you, by the time, even if they are exposed to technology when they are 14, 15, 26, what, somebody or a kid will be in a position, or the person will be in a position to make a rightful decision.
For
And all these 17
themselves,
years, they are learning
Get it.
nothing from you
Wait,
apart from
Reinhard.
fear.
No,
No,
not really,
no.
not really.
From
Me,
they're
what I
close to
want,
the
they
mothers.
learn a lot.
So
They
you
learn
want
a
the
lot
mothers to be in charge
because
of what the children
absolutely.
absorb.
They learn a
17
lot.
years.
They learn a lot because whatever the mother is telling them, they know if they deviate, there are chances of meeting me now. And that is my role.
Okay. So there's step one of the parenting.
Yeah.
If you're not able to agree with
Or
this
if-
person,
or if
or
my
you
ma-
go
if-
past, or you are too difficult, then now you will meet the other parent
life.
let
who-
the mother tells you.
Yeah.
The mother will be telling you that, you know, daddy, kama umepata hujafanya hii. This will be the
kuna
consequence.
shida. Hey, okay. Guys,
that
I'm
is
not sure whether we'd ever be able to finish this conversation. Please join us at home. Tell us what you think, whether you think that you'd raise your children differently, or whether you believe gender roles in your household would be different. Use the hashtag ManTalk and the hashtag KTN Life and Style. And before we close the episode, I want the gentlemen to give you guys their social media handles so you can know where to find them. Reinhard, we can start off with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Susie, for having me here today.
So happy to have you.
This has been a very great conversation.
Yeah, I
Thank
don't.
you very much, Apio, for challenging my...
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all going to go home with a lot to think about.
Yeah, sure. And
oh, you're not on socials, but I
No,
know
no,
you can
social
give
media,
light web organizations.
Yeah, social media, not yet. That one is still under renovation. I'll tell you until when.
Yeah.
But I have to say this, that guys, the world of tomorrow is looking up to us. Our children, our grandchildren, they are our future. Let's sing a song of peace in this country. Peace. Peace is very important. At a young age, kindergarten, baby class, high school diploma, university, whatever, let's sing peace, peace. And lastly, we are headed towards elections. Our show here is about lifestyle. Our lifestyle in this country is peace. So we will not be divided. Let's be peaceful, peaceful fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters. I love you all. That's Reinhard Bonke.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony, where can people find you and how can they sign up for Encourage to Inspire?
They can find me on social media on Instagram at official Anthony Njenga, ANTHONYNJENGA. And on Facebook, Anthony Njenga, YouTube, Anthony Njenga. And my final remarks on this topic are, dear fathers, if you're a young father watching me and you feel like you need to be feared, just as my brother Afia said, what I'd like to tell you is this. Build that closure with your kid. Hata kama you're the head of the house, hata kama you're the provider, you're the protector. Be free, be best friends with your kids. Ndio wasikuogope. Yes.
Awesome. Apio,
Thank
where
you,
can
Susan.
people find you?
Oh, Kenyans. As usual, I have social media handles. Facebook, you'll find me at ApioJF Apio. Instagram, at Apio Opio, and in Twitter, at ApioJF. Me, I only have one remark. As a father, you have to stand your ground. You must give direction. You must be dominant. In anything you do, the decision of that family lies on you. Take charge.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I've learned so much today, and I think we're still going to have more to talk about even after we finish filming this episode.
Yeah.
But this has been Man Talk here on KTN Home. You can find us at the same place, same time next week. And don't forget, there's the text line right on the screen that you can use to communicate to us, 22151, in case you need so. And you can find me on social media at Surah_common everywhere. And you can follow us everywhere at KTN Home. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.